Okay, we're live. Hi guys, welcome to my live. Thank you so much for tuning in and clicking on this video. I'm gonna wait for a little bit more people to come in. It's gonna be epic today. Got so much to talk about. Got a special guest on today. So yeah, I'm really excited. Hope you guys are doing good. Yeah, so we've got 3 people. Make sure you hit the like button. If you are new to my channel, make sure that you hit that subscribe button. It is all good vibes. And yeah, I'll probably give it like a two minutes, and then yeah, we're gonna just dive right into the video. So what we're gonna do, so I'm gonna just talk a little bit about something that has been trending, which I thought will go perfect with today's topic and today's guest. He's going to tell us a little bit more about what he does, his organization, and yeah, we're going to have a conversation, man. We're going to have a conversation. You guys could already see from the thumbnail, all men cheat. That was a question, okay? Now, a lot of people have been commenting on that. People have been saying some interesting things, but I'm going to share with you guys why I posted that. Obviously, that is like a broad question. We all know we cannot categorize or put everybody in the same box. But there was an interesting video that I watched following Davido's little scandal that I spoke about early on in the week, and I thought, you know what? Let me wait and speak to you guys and see what you guys' thoughts are on that. We're gonna talk about relationships, yeah, and just open the floor, man. I love doing lives because it's not just me. I get to hear what you lot want to say as well. So yeah. Hi, Nikki. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much. Hope you're good. How are you? How was your day? And I need you lot to be active today. Get your questions ready. Get your comments ready. Get your thought processes together already. You lot already know what we're going to be talking about. So yeah, it gives you time to really, get it all together so you can let us know what's up. Okay, cool. So, do you know what? I'm going to bring in our guest, and let's just get right into today's video. Hello.
How are you?
Alkebulan Trust. What's up?
I'm good. Yourself?
How was your day?
My day was alright, it's decent. Just had to
Yeah.
sort out a few things. What about you?
Yeah.
How was your day?
It was good. It felt a bit tiring. The weather's gone down a bit.
Yeah,
So
which is really
never
weird.
never a good thing, man. I'm excited because they're talking about lockdown lifting and this exit map or whatever they've called it. So
Yeah.
yeah, the 21st of June, right?
Yeah, 21st of June, but I don't know. I heard something different as well. I heard that what's that guy's name? I think he does the budget thing, but they
Uh,
extended the furlough till
yeah,
September. So it's like, is lockdown really gonna end?
yeah, because when they extend the furlough, it gives us an idea of what they're really what's really going on
Yeah,
with the furlough thing. Because obviously, if everything was going to go back to normal, then why do you need to end the furlough? Like, why do you need to
yeah,
extend it? Sorry. Yeah, I
yeah.
know. And everybody's kind of like, is this 21st going to happen because of the new variant from Brazil? So I don't know. And they're still on the lookout for that person who didn't fill out their details, which is
Oh no.
interesting.
It's crazy. It's a crazy time that we're living in. I don't want to say I don't get it because I somewhat do get it, but it's the thing of, well, put it this way: every April is the start of the financial year. So
Mhm.
once they do all that budget talk properly, then we really know what's going to happen. That's when you know what's really going to happen.
Yeah, 100%, man. So do you have any plans for the 21st?
Um,
Or are you gonna sit back and wait?
I'm more or less going to sit back and wait because my thing is, one thing I've realized about life in general is sometimes you can plan out something for a specific date, and then
Yeah,
when that date comes, there's other things that come into play that just changes the whole game. So
I
it's
know.
like might as well just
And you don't want to
wait.
get your hopes up, and then it's like, oh, here we go again.
Yeah,
But you know what? I've got high hopes, man. I've got high hopes because of the vaccine. So
Yeah.
I don't know if they would take us back again unless this new variant just goes wild and they have to just shut everything down. But yeah, I've got high hopes. I don't have any plans, but I'm just like, please let us out, man, because
Yeah.
okay, so who we got? Thank you, Yikes. Is it Yikes? Thank you so much. Also, guys, if you are new to my channel, in the description I've got my Cash app and my PayPal. So you guys go ahead and support my channel. It's all gonna go towards this growth and development of Ami. I just got a new mic. I don't know if my sound is the audio sounding a bit different, but yeah, man, I just wanna pump things up, you know, like get things better. So I really do appreciate all of you guys' support. Yeah, so yeah, let's just jump right into the video, man. So just tell everyone who you are, what you do, introduce yourself, let the people know.
All right. So basically, my name is Raphael, but I'm the founder of the organization, the Alkebulan Trust. Basically, how can I put it? It's like what the organization does is basically the aim really is to rebuild the infrastructure in the African and Caribbean diaspora. Now that sounds very broad, but to break that down simply is more than just like literally building communities, which is what I initially really want to do, but it's also the mindset of people. And you know, you're talking about men cheating and stuff like that. So again, it's the mindset. My thing is like it's like at the end of the day, there's no need to cheat. You see what I mean? Because it's just like I'll give you an example, right? And this is why having the right knowledge, because through the courses that we do teach online, one of them is roles and relationships, and that's where I teach more about how dating and relationships actually work. So it's like,
which we'll get more into that as well.
Yeah, it's like at the end of the day, everything comes down to knowledge. That's all it comes down to. There's no need to cheat. Like I've come very, 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 very close to cheating, but I've never cheated.
Okay, cool. Okay, I'm gonna hold that thought because I'm gonna come back on that as well. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So guys, what we're gonna so you guys heard it. So Raphael has got an organization, the Alkebulan Trust. You guys have probably seen him around. I know when we was talking, a lot of people was asking like, what do you do? Like, what is that about? And it's all about building the infrastructure in the Afro and Caribbean diaspora. So it's all about putting back and just rebuilding Africa and just the whole Black community, I will put it, to simplify it. And it's something that I was like, you know what, we actually need to bring it to the table, because I hear a lot of people say there's no community within Black people, like we don't have a community, like those two words together, just it's not there. So I definitely want to touch up on that a little bit later as well. Like, is there a community within Black people? Why do people feel like that? And also how you guys can get involved as well. So I've put all of the details in the description box. So you guys go ahead and support the organization, and how you can also get involved, because it's really, really important. If like we don't do it, no one else is going to do it for us, type of thing. So yeah, so firstly, I just want to start off with, I don't know if you guys watched the video I did on Davido where he was caught with Young Ma's ex and they were holding hand. Now, I don't know if that is cheating because we don't really know what the status is with him and Choma. Some people are saying that they actually allegedly broke up. She broke up with him back in December. So technically, he's kind of free to do what he wants to do. But I saw this interesting video. So I'm going to play the video for you guys, and then we're going to talk about that, because I was just like, all right, is this how men think or what? Okay, let me just play the video and then we'll come back.
Okay, Raz. So what is it you want to say again?
See, I was going to say something real quick on this Obo matter, yeah? See, I've checked. All my friends are cheaters. All the friends of my friends are cheaters. All the friends of the friends of my friends are cheaters. All the friends of the friends of the friends of the friends of my friends are cheaters. So I think I've concluded there's no man out there that's faithful. Now, see, somebody about to tell me that the boyfriend is faithful. Yeah, for now. You about to tell me your husband is faithful. Yeah, for now. A man can be faithful for a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10. One day, he will cheat. See, let me tell you something, I don't think there's any man out there that's faithful. Yeah. So I told women, stop breaking up with men or stop leaving your marriages because the man cheated. You know, it's been like that. We're hunters, man. God made us that way. You know. I mean, he could be faithful for 5 years. He could be faithful for 10. But he gonna cheat someday. Now, enough of that bullshit. That's what they reason me say, because man cheat, you can't end your relationship or end your marriage. You're mad. Who told you the next one will not cheat? You won't tell me the next one will not cheat? I beg. German and my sister, but that Obo new girl hot though. Obo, salute. That girl makes sense. No go there. I like Choma. Choma a classic girl. I beg.
Right, so basically, first of all, I don't know what accent he's got. I don't know whether he's American, whether he's African, like, I don't know. It's all mixed up. When I was watching it, I was just like, okay, there's a lot of things in there that he said. So, can I just firstly, sorry about the background noise. I live right by the train station, if you can hear that. First of all, I personally don't believe that all men cheat, okay? So for everybody that was on there, like, oh, that's a dumb question, blah, 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 I purposely put that out there because of this specific video. Because clearly there are some people who do think like that. He's not the only person in the world. And I have conversations about this with my friends quite a lot of the time. And it comes up like, it's a man thing, like what he was saying. It's like men are predators or whatever he said, and it's kind of like it's excusable for that type of behavior. So what do you think about that? Like, what do you think about what he said? Because he said a lot of interesting things.
You know, it's imagine, like, first of all, obviously not all men cheat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not all men cheat. And you know, there are some men that are out there that are faithful. And the other thing is the thing of what we need to understand is that what it is how can I put it? When you don't understand, it's like, for example, all cheating really is just being lying and deceitful, really. So really and truly, if a man wants to be with another woman, he can do that, but he just needs to say it's going to be in a situation where it's, you know, either a polygamous situation or open relationship situation. The problem is because we've been programmed from early age to believe in just monogamous. You see what I mean? So and then obviously it's a thing where some men fear that woman that they're cheating on is going to leave them, but it's kind of redundant because if they're cheating them, sooner or later they're going to leave them anyway. So it's like you might as well just find out how polygamous relationships actually work and work your way through that. That would make more sense. Like, I can give you like an example, right? Because there was one time when I nearly, like I said before, I nearly cheated, but I didn't cheat. But then another relationship, I think it was a relationship I had afterwards, actually, which is weird, oddly enough. Like, yeah, so there was a situation, and I thought, all right, you know what? Let me just add another woman to the mix then. And I can't remember the four things I was saying.
Hold on, sorry. So you was in the relationship.
Yeah.
And then you wanted to add another person with their consent, or like?
Yeah, with the consent. With the consent.
Okay, so you had a conversation about this.
Yeah. Like, it literally happened on a Friday. This was so mad. It happened on a Friday, and I let them know, and then they agreed that they were happy with it. Then when it came to like Sunday, they weren't on it. So I'm like, damn. So I'm like, then I just didn't end up following through. I respected her decision. You see what I mean?
So was this for like a relationship, or was this just for like a one-time thing?
It was for a relationship. You know what I mean? So I transitioned it from a monogamous to a polygamous.
Okay, so are you like a strong believer in that then? Like polygamy?
I wouldn't say I'm a strong believer in it. I just understand that it's necessary. It's like it is a necessary requirement if necessary. Do you know what I mean? If that's what your um lifestyle is gonna head towards, you might as well. You know what I mean? Like, if monogamous works for some people, polygamous works for some people, open relationship works for some people, and it don't work for other people. It just is what it is. You just got to understand how things work, and it's not all. And the thing is, as well, when it comes to because there's one other thing that the guy mentioned about guys being hunters. See, the thing is, yes, guys are hunters, but we don't hunt women. This is the mistake that most guys make.
Okay.
Because when you're in a hunting mode when it comes to women, you're literally chasing women. And if you're chasing women, it's fun, like it's mad. It's like, how do I explain it? You're supposed to, like, as far as I'm aware, and from experience as well, women predominantly want men that are high value. You know what I mean? And the high value guys, they don't chase women. Women
Yeah,
come flocking towards them.
I
So
agree. Yeah.
so it's a thing of, if you look at it from that aspect, they are the ones hunting the men, which is, is what it is. But I feel like, I just say that on that.
Okay, so you don't agree. Okay, so in general, men are hunters, but it's a type of guy that do that. Is that what you're
Yeah,
saying?
yeah. It's more of, I don't want to. I'm not here to judge no one, yeah. But if a guy that is not aware of his true nature, that more or less hunt women. Because there was a time. Let's be real. Like, if you look at it in like adolescent phases, right?
Yeah.
That's the phase. That is the era where there is that chasing between men and women. Anyway, you see what I mean? They're chasing each other because, like, very hormonal. Because they do how do you say it? Hormonal.
No, no,
Hormo-
yeah.
yeah. So, but then after a while, you know, some people break away from that. Like, I didn't break away from that until I learned how to be a man. You see what I mean? Once I learned how to be a man, I'm like, I don't chase women anymore. Like, it's not even a, you know what I mean? Like, I just focus on what I need to do, and then when the women come flocking towards me, I do what's necessary.
So what's your opinion about women kind of making the first move, like approaching the guy? Is that a turn off, or is that like make
No, I don't even find that a turn off. What's interesting is, for my, this is what's so weird, yeah. Some people will say for some people it's the turn off. For me, like, I'm all for it because my experience, like, I say, from what year was I? I think I was in year 7, and at first, I remember there were these two girls that approached me. At first, I felt weird about it because I'm thinking, all right, what are these girls really on? And then I realized what the situation was. You see what I mean? So, and then ever since, I've had more women approach me. Even
okay?
though, yeah, I have made the first meet before, but, like, I've had women approach me, and I kind of, I don't know, I can't say whether I prefer it or not, but it's not a turn off to me,
Was that from like a mindset change because you was talking about how you came from like you um from that adolescent through the adolescent years where the guys are kind of like chasing, the hormones are up, it's all about getting the girls, and then you grow up into a man and then you realize the nature of a man and what a man is about, and then you kind of relax into that.
Uh, not, you know what it is? What it was for me, it was just a fact of, I don't know, I don't explain it, because there was a phase where there was a phase where it wasn't even me that was clocking this, like, the situation. It was my friends. They were letting me know, oh, right, she's on it. And then when they let me know she's on it, then it's either they would, well, technically I made the first, technically in that sense I made the first approach, but that's how I know if the energy is right. So I've
Okay.
always had, which is mad, like, I've always had a, how to explain it? Like, I've always been on target. basically. Always been on target. And then on the time when I ended up approaching, like first time without my friends around, like my target, I'm off target. You see what I mean? Because I can't really see or feel their energy whether they're on it or not. But now I understand as I've grown older and learned more stuff. I've understood, what women do to show that they're interested and stuff like that. But yeah, well,
okay, so somebody was talking saying earlier about, obviously we all know not all men cheat. Like
yeah.
what would you define cheating as? Because cheating is subjective to everybody. Some people it's the talking, some people it's building an emotional attachment, some people it's actually the intimacy part. Like, what is your line? What would you say?
Um, See, as far as relationship goes when it comes to cheating, it's just lying, and it first is like it's first lying and being deceitful to yourself. That's the first thing. Because then if it's a thing where you're like, okay, well, because naturally you're going to be attracted to someone anyway. You see what I mean? So even like even if you discipline yourself enough to not, you know, get attached to them or stuff like that, then it's a different situation. You don't necessarily have to literally talk to them, or even if you're in a space where you are talking to them, you don't
Yeah.
necessarily have to have a intimate conversation because you should know how to carry yourself. It's not about discipline, but I don't know. I say it just starts off with yourself. It can't really. There's no talking stage or, you know. I just think it's just everything starts off with yourself.
So as in like the person in their like, what do you mean, like in their head, like they're already attracted to somebody else, or they've already left the relationship, or their minds are already wandering, and then it's like, yeah, you're cheating.
Yeah, it's like if literally their mind is somewhere else. You see what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like if their mind is somewhere else and they're not being, let's say for example, if their their partner asks them a question about something in relation to that situation, and then they lie. You see what I mean? Rather than just being honest. Like,
But do you think like some people, like for guys, I feel like sometimes guys lie anyway, like just because they're just, I don't know, like they just lie more. Like,
I don't know. Like, I get why some people would think guys lie more, but I don't know. Like, for some people, it's like the way I look at it. Yeah, I don't like liars, in it, so I'm not gonna lie.
yeah.
So, but then I'm not gonna lie. There has been a time when I have lied when I wasn't in a relationship. When I was in a relationship, I won't lie about that because I have. I'm not gonna lie, but it's just a thing of when you become more mature. The more mature you get, the more you realize there's no need to lie. Like, you can just be honest. What's the worst that can happen?
I think sometimes like people get scared, like I don't know, like you might be like, or some people might just want to avoid confrontation, you know, like especially if you've been in a relationship where it's kind of getting a bit too much, getting a bit toxic, where the person is insecure, and they're just always asking, like man managers have gone to the gym and they're like, oh, where have you come from? And it's like, I just went to the shop. Like, do you get what I mean? Like, you just that's what I think happens. Like, they just do it just to avoid confrontation, which I don't at all think that is right anyway. Like, I completely agree. I think you need to be able to be in a relationship where you could be open and
Yeah,
you be free, like not feel like you have to have that emotional responsibility for your partner. Like, everybody should be whole within themselves and be secure to know that if you're gonna go out and you're gonna do it, then that's what you're gonna do. Like, at the end of the day, if a man wants to cheat, he's gonna cheat anyway. Vice versa as well. If a woman's gonna cheat, he's gonna cheat. There's nothing you can do to stop that person. You just have to assess your relationship and actually think, can I stay? Like, can I put up with this, or am I more than that? But
yeah.
I do think some people just naturally are actually liars.
I mean, it's a tricky one. I don't know. It's like end of the day when you look at it, if it isn't a case of, you know, they're trying to save face in regards to the partner being insecure. It's like, I don't know. Again, it comes down to maturity. Because for me, it's like I remember with one time with one ex, you know what I mean? She kept on thinking I was lying. So I just said, I just kept it on to be like, listen, you're gonna believe whatever you want to believe anyway. So believe what you want to believe.
Yeah.
It's not my. It's like it's not my responsibility to consistently like prove myself. You see what I mean? It don't make sense.
Yeah. No, 100%, 100%. That's why that's why I was saying, like, people are going to do whatever they're going to do. So if you do get to that point in your relationship where it's like you constantly feel like if I tell the truth, you don't believe me. If I lie, you don't believe me. So it's like,
Yeah.
what can I do? What can I say? But then again, it gets like, it doesn't just start like that in a relationship. It's like something happens for one party to get to that stage, unless you met them where they were that insecure. But then why would you get with somebody who is that insecure and then complain
But
about it?
one thing as well, it's another cycle. I don't know what the word or the term is, but it's also a psychological thing as well. So it's a thing of that if they're insecure about that, let's say they're insecure about cheating and they're
Yeah.
thinking you're cheating, more time it's because they're cheating.
Okay.
Or even if they're not
Do you think
cheating,
that's for
they're
both
thinking about
females and
cheating.
men?
Say again?
Do you think that's the same for both male and female?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
Interesting. What do you guys think about that? Let me just read some of these comments. So what basically saying is like, most of the time when somebody's saying you're doing something, is because they're doing it. What do you guys think about that? Hi AJ, welcome. What is cheating? Not in my vocabulary. If you are a liar, that person is immediately cancelled. Cheating can crush a relationship 100%, man, because it's that trust, isn't it, that is broken. And it's like, to rebuild that trust, it is crazy. I remember talking with my friends about this, and we was like, listen, if you're gonna get back with somebody and decide that I'm gonna get back with that person after they've cheated, then you can't keep bringing that thing back up. Like, you can't keep being like, oh, but you remember when you cheated? Oh, but yeah, but when you were like, because you decided to get with that person. So it's going to be very, very hard to rebuild that trust. Queen Sherry, thank you. I mean, speaking facts, thank you so much. Let's talk a little bit about polygamy, because you mentioned that earlier. And it's something that you also discuss if you guys don't know, he does courses as well. So relationship, what's it called?
Roles and Relationships.
Yeah, roles and relationships. So because you're basically saying that you invited a third person in your relationship, or you attempted to bring a third person. And how long into the relationship was that when you did that?
All right, so there was two different circumstances. So the first one, I guess I was with well, I don't even know how long it was. I guess I was with her for more than like 4 years in total.
Okay.
4 years. But the second one, I was with her. Probably. Let me do. I can't even count them out. So I was with her from September. So September, October, November, and then it was December when we had that conversation. So like, yeah.
Okay, so the first one you was with 4 years.
Yeah.
So you introduced somebody else in there as well.
Well, I didn't. The thing is, the idea of it, I tried to make it happen. You know what I mean? But because she didn't want it off, because she wasn't interested in that anymore, like literally after the weekend ended, you know what I mean? Didn't go through with it. But the second one, the second one was like we were going through with it. Like she was helping with the process. Like she literally helped me set up what's that app again? Plenty of Fish account. And
okay, so Well, hold on. So okay, so but how long like in the relationship was like 2 months, 3 months?
About 2-3 months.
Okay. And when you kind of first met, is that something that was brought up in the conversation, or was that like in the relationship? Then you was like, oh yeah, by the way, I'm a polygamous.
So with the first one, we didn't even discuss it. We didn't discuss it at first because I had no idea about it, neither did she.
Oh,
But
right. Okay.
yeah, but then after um studying and stuff like that, then we found out more, and then it's not even just that. It was just the fact of even what's interesting? I just clocked. It was actually an ex that suggested it, which is
Oh,
mad.
you.
Which is mad, raw. And what's mad is she's the one that I nearly cheated on. And then I look at that situation, it's like she ended up being friends with that person, innit? So if I was still with her,
I don't know if you guys
I
are
could have been a
following
polygamist.
this. This is a lot.
I'm telling you, my life is a drama series, where
Okay, so are you guys following this? Because I'm just like, I'm really trying to like stay above. So the ghetto ages. So your ex introduced you to polygamy.
she didn't necessarily introduce me
Okay,
to
but she
polygamy,
brought it
but
up.
she literally brought it up because I don't know, she randomly asked how I was, and I just randomly just kept it at hand with her, and then she just brought it up, and I'm like, you know what? That literally doesn't make sense. Like when someone says something that makes sense, you know what I mean? Whether it's an ex or not, I'm gonna, look deep into it. So I did more research into it anyway, and yeah. So yeah, I thought, all right, well, maybe I should bring that up with my girl at the time, and then, you know,
Okay,
things
so
happen, but.
what's the difference with polygamy and open relationship?
All right, so the difference is with polygamy, it's one guy with multiple women, and
Okay.
then with open relationship, it's literally the man could be with many women, and the woman could be with many men as well.
Okay. So then would you be in an open relationship?
No,
So why would you then be in an open relationship? Why would you not be in an open relationship but be polygamous?
because I'm the man.
Oh gosh. Listen, I'm gonna drop a link here. So if anybody wants to come on and ask questions or say your piece or say whatever you want to say, let me drop a link because this is actually quite interesting. I mean, I think you're gonna need to say a little bit more because I'm a man, because people really wanna, because this is what you this
All
is
right, the
a
reason
point.
why, the reason why I say that because I'm a man is because by how to put it, by nature, like I it's about how to put it, it's about conquering. Do you see what I mean?
Okay.
That's basically it in a nutshell, just about conquering. But at the same time, it like at the same time, I'm not saying that I'm against polygamy or I'm for polygamy. Like at that time, at the situation, you know what I mean? I thought that was the solution. You know what I mean? Like my mindset is always okay. If there's this problem, how can we solve this problem? You know what I mean? Not everything necessarily needs to end in a breakup or this kind of stuff. And like, yeah, not everything needs to end up in a breakup. Like I realized that most people end up having so many red flags, and then when they break up with the person, then they're going to be all sad and depressed and all this stuff here when you didn't necessarily need to break up with that person. So I mean, there's other ways to solve that problem. I'm not saying that you have to go into a different type of relationship, but there's ways of solving problems.
Okay, so basically, what if I'm understanding right? What you're saying is like there's some relationships where, let's say for men, for instance, it's almost like they can't be faithful, right? So um, instead of you being breaking up that relationship, why don't you just kind of discuss and see if you can, how you can broaden the relationship or make the relationship better, rather than or fulfilling the need of that person or seeing what is lacking in that relationship and opening up, because polygamy isn't necessarily a bad thing to some people. Is that kind of what you're saying?
Yeah,
I mean,
because
I'm gonna be very honest and real. Yeah, I personally don't agree. But I'm just gonna put Melanin in and see what she has to say to that statement. Hello, hello, hello.
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, I just think it's a hard one, because when it comes to polygamy, I think it's just a way of like men just making an excuse of wanting more women. I think it's just because men tend to have this mentality they want to. I think men go to when they cheat, they cheat for pleasure, not for. I don't think they actually cheat because they like that woman. I think
Okay.
they cheat for pleasure, which make them a bit selfish. Makes them selfish, because men can be very selfish. So, because like one of my friends told me that one of my guy friends said that men can still like go out and shit with a different woman, but they still can love the how can I say, they can still love the woman they are with. I don't know if I don't think that's kind of true, because they say that women when we cheat emotionally, which I think is a very stereotypical that we women are emotional. A lot of women are not emotional, like as society makes we think that we are emotional. A lot of women are not.
I agree.
So we can. I think women can cheat and still like their partner, like the way men do. We can still do the same thing. We just choose not to. We have more self control. It's all about self control. I feel like women have more self than men.
Okay.
Sorry, but any legs they open, men will go for it. Any legs they open for them, men will go for it. Compared to like women, we still have choice. We have a lot of choice, but we just choose not to, because we like that the man we are with, and we want to keep him. So I just think it's all excuse. It's all lies and excuse men use that just to finesse women and just to control. I
Yeah.
don't believe in this polygamy. It just brings a lot of broken homes. Just opens a lot of broken homes. Polygamy.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much. Somebody says, can you finance these women? So because I was actually having an interesting conversation with somebody about this. I can't remember how it started, but we was talking about polygamy, of course, and they were saying that obviously it's not something that's new. This is something that obviously started back way back in the days. And a lot of men that do that are able to finance these women, because if you are, for example, what you're saying, that you wouldn't do open relationship because you're the man, I mean, you want it all to yourself basically, then you should then be in a position to finance all of these women, and they should kind of just sit back, relax, and just enjoy the lifestyle, because to me it's a lifestyle.
No, yeah, definitely a lifestyle, but here's the thing. Like, obviously, I this is where I want to mention about equality. Yeah, women want equality and all that stuff. There, it's all. Right, put it this way: polygamy in a nutshell. Yeah, it's not just about the man. Do you see what I mean? It's what value, yeah, can that woman add to the relationship or to the family structure. You see what I mean? It's not always about um like men being selfish and all that stuff there. Initially, I'm not gonna lie to you, when I first found out polygamy, that's what I initially thought it was. It's, you know what I mean? But about being selfish and having women all to myself. But I realized, the more I learned about relationships, you know what I mean? It's like how it actually works. Everything is about value. Like, what value are they bringing? You see what I mean? So it's a situation where obviously, yeah, if you are financially wealthy, then it works in your favor. You know what I mean? Like, everything can work out. But it's just, like I said, I'm not really for it or against it. I'm more, whatever
Open.
God. Yeah, I'm open to it, because whatever God's got intended for me is what God's got intended for me. But one thing I would never do is be in an open relationship, because like I'm very competitive. You see what I mean?
But women are very territorial.
Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, I don't think a lot of women want to be sharing, and
No,
a
but
lot.
see, you say that, yeah. But again, it's not necessarily. See, here's the thing. It's not necessarily about the guy. Do you see what I mean? Nor is it about the women. It's about understanding where they're heading towards. Do you see what I mean? So there's surprise. Like, what's interesting is now more people and more women especially are being more open to the idea. You see what I mean? There's some that are in a polygamous relationship. So it's a thing where if you really are for that lifestyle, then you attract women that way. If a woman is for that lifestyle, they'll attract the right guy. It is what it is. But I honestly think when it comes to finance, it's a tricky one. Yeah, the man should finance, but at the same time, we live in a society now where women can hold their own. Do you see what I mean? They can bring that finance to the table too.
Okay. Let me just have a look at some of these comments. Someone says, it's bordering abuse in my opinion, the gaslighting and manipulation. Let me just go back a little bit.
But we're not mad, yeah. Listen to this. This is what's so mad, yeah. As much as there's polygamy, yeah, where it's one guy and multiple women, there's polyandry, where there's one woman and multiple men. Do you see what I mean? So everyone has something for them. So I'm not even against, like, for it or against it. Whatever works for you is what's gonna work for you. You see what I mean?
Yeah, I get where you're coming from. I mean, obviously there are people who are open to it. There's women who, like we say, women are like they want to settle down and women want love, and there are women who can be unemotionally attached and be just like guys. So this, to me, is everything is messed up. Like, that's the way I see it. I just feel like everybody wants to have their own rules, and like everybody wants to make up their own rules. And I just think living in a society where everybody wants to make up their own rule is kind of like everybody wants to be their own god. Do you get what I mean? And I think it messes up society, and it's a very selfish way of living. And the reason why,
Now I'm gonna say, and that, like, it's the fact that you mentioned that it's messing up society. This is what I've deeped about society as a whole. They're already programming, yeah, people from an early age about monogamous. Do you see what I mean? So, like, you're seeing it already in cartoons, you're seeing it on TV shows, and you're seeing it in movies. Do you see what I mean? But then there's a whole other world out there. Do you see what I mean? And it's like you think it's normal, and I'm not gonna say it isn't normal, because what's normal to someone is actually normal. What's not normal to someone isn't normal. So it's like we look at it from a point of view where you've got that, but then if you look at the education system, they're not well, as far as I'm aware, they're not teaching how dating and relationships actually work. Like, and that is a vital piece of thing or subject when it comes to life, because the person you end up getting with, you know what I mean? Like, they can either add value to your life or subtract value from your life. And you know what I mean? It's like, and if someone has been abusive in a relationship, whether it's physical or emotional, whether it's the man being the victim or the woman being the victim, that has a toll on the person's life for practically the majority of their life. And then how they see the next person is going to be viewed by it's going to be more or less the same how they think of the next person, because they're going to think, oh, because they do this and that, okay, that triggers the whole thing where they're going to be abusive, but they may not necessarily be abusive. Do you see what I mean? So it's the thing of, we need to learn how things actually work and the nature of man and nature of woman. Once we understand that, things are a lot more easier.
So how would you define the nature of man?
The nature of man. basically, how do I put it? The nature of a man really is a leader. Just I mean a leader and like there's more to it. There's more to it, but it's like they're more or less a leader and builder, basically.
Yeah, I get like, just going back on a few things that you were saying about obviously they're being programmed to be monogamous. Like
Uh,
I think society is trying to reverse that. I don't think they're programming that. Like I think from a young age, like recently there's just change. What's that potato head thing? Like they're
oh
make
yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
like they're just making it gender neutral, and that's programming to me. Like that is
yeah.
rewiring, and that's programming kids from a young age. So to me it's kind of like there's a flip. Do you know what I mean? Like there's about to be a turnaround, which I don't think is healthy for society, because when you're talking about, you know there's this whole other world, which there is, like there's so many things, like so many names that you'd hear or you think, what is this? Or things that people do behind closed doors, you're thinking, what is this? Like when me and my friends talk, we just crazy stories. And I just think we're thinking about ourselves and our selfishness and our own pleasures, like, which by
Yeah.
the way lasts for minutes. After that, that pleasure is gone. Do you know what I mean? But we're not thinking about our younger ones or the generations before us or after us, sorry. And it's kind of like, how is it going to affect them? Like they're going to grow up in a household where it's kind of like you can be whatever you want to be. Today you could be woman, tomorrow you could be man, today you could be a pet, tomorrow you could be whatever. Like, do you know what I mean? And it's
Yeah.
like, it's not coming against anybody's beliefs, but it's kind of like, how does this benefit the world? Like how does this benefit our kids? Like if
No, I get
we
that.
do you know what I mean? Like if we are making up these rules and changing things up how whenever we wish to, it's a bit messed up to me. It's a bit like,
Yeah. Like I get it. It's a thing of like when you're talking about affecting kids. Like let's use the polygamy as an example, or let's put it this way. Let's use polygamy as an example, right?
yeah,
It's a thing of if people understand how it actually genuinely works, like that is practically nation building. Even open relationship in a sense as well, that is also nation building as well. You see what I mean? Even monogamous relationship, that's also nation building. But what people need to also realize is that like children see and hear things anyway. You see what I mean? So everything has to be in a way that I don't know how to put it. It's like some people are very careful around children, but it's like if you're naturally yourself and you understand that that's going to have an effect on a child, then you know what I mean, you'll pattern up. There's no need for you to try and pattern up because naturally you are who you are. Do you know what I mean? But I feel like I said, I think people need to, especially the black community in general, we need to be thinking of nation building. You see what I mean? Like that's the main thing. Nation building is the only way forward out of so many things. But yeah, the whole programming is a madness. Like, yeah.
so how do we nation build polygamously?
But all right. So basically, it's hard to really. I don't want to say it's hard to say, but to simplify it, it's a thing of having obviously the man in the household and the women in the household all together. Do you know what I mean? But every woman, even the man, everyone plays their role in terms of if they've got something of value. Let's say, for example, I don't know, one of them has to go out and literally work. One of the women, they have to go out and work. And but let's say that they naturally give birth to the child. At least one of them can be at home to teach the child. You know what I mean? Like, depending on their ages, that's if they don't want to take them to, because obviously there's homeschool, but but I think it's tricky with homeschool because you have to understand the dynamics of their ages. Do you see what I mean? like what they need to learn, all that stuff there. So there's, I don't know, it's mad. But then there's also a situation where we need an actual literal community, literally. You know what I mean? You can't really be in a community within a community. You got to literally have your own hub.
Okay. I don't know if are you guys getting all of that in? By the way, I've dropped the link, so if you guys want to jump on and if you've got any questions or if you want to add anything to the conversation, like I'm finding this conversation quite interesting because I'm really trying to be open to, you know, what you're saying and understand it. So
Yeah.
if the last question is like, I'm not necessarily objecting, I'm just like, but okay, like make me understand, like this is your moment to like open my mind, because I completely agree about, you know, nation building, and especially within the Black community is something that we're gonna kind of end with. Like I said earlier, a lot of people don't feel like there is a community within Black people. I mean, recently, even with the video that I've done with Dr. Umar, it's kind of like, well, here goes again with this Black American and Black African. Is like, what are you doing?
Sound close, boy.
You know what I mean? So again, videos like that just kind of highlights that, yeah, there is that segregation and division, and it's something that we need to build together. It's not even just African Americans, it's even with Africans and Caribbeans. Like you always find that there's a segregation somewhere, and you don't need any outsiders to come and tell us, we already know. Do you get what I mean? So it's like, let's address the elephant in the room and let's talk about it. Why do we not have a community? Why is there segregation between Africans and Caribbeans? And, you know, how can we rebuild the infrastructure and all of that stuff? So it's interesting because I'm trying to tie it in with what you're saying about building the nation and being polygamous or being open, because relationship is something that is broken down within the Black community.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say on top of that as well. I'm gonna say on top of that as well. In fact, like we have to also break it down into, like, let's not forget, but let's more push the polygamy aside, open relationship aside, because first and foremost, you're always gonna have to start off with one anyway. Do you see what I mean? Like it's always gonna start off with man and woman. So my thing is, it's a thing of the man has to understand his role as a man, and the woman has to understand her role as a woman. It's the same thing of like applying for a job. Like, you know the job role, like you read the description and you applied for it, and even if you haven't applied for it, but someone referred it to you, like you would more or less have a gist of understanding how the job actually works, and you're able to naturally, you know, put yourself in a position where you're doing that job. You see what I mean? And that has an effect on everything else within that company, and that's how the company actually works. So it's more or less like that. So it's a thing where we have to focus on understanding our role. That's where it initially comes from. And yeah, and then if someone wants to end up being in a polygamous relationship, then so be it. If they want to be in an open relationship, so be it. But everything starts off with monogamous anyway.
Okay, so what's your stance on gender roles? Because earlier someone mentioned something about if you polygamy most of the time is, you know, the man being able to finance, and you said, you know, we're living in a new age where women are independent. So what's your stance on gender roles?
Gender roles, all right, when you say gender roles, like, what do you mean?
Gender roles between a man and a woman. Like, what is the man's position and what is the woman's position? Just before you answer that, let me just bring AJ in and hear what they've got to say.
Hi.
Hello. Welcome.
Hi.
Welcome.
I just found the conversation quite interesting because you mentioned that you promote polygamous relationships. Yeah.
I don't necessarily promote it, but it's like I'm not for it nor am I against it. It's, you know, keeping people the open mind, you know, to that. For example, if they're gonna cheat, you might as well be in a polygamous relationship. If you're gonna cheat, you might as well be in an open relationship. You see what I mean? If you're going to cheat, you might as well be in a polyandry relationship. It's just understanding how the dynamics of relationships work.
Yeah, no, I understand that. I think that it's right for some people, and some people it isn't.
Yeah,
Just based on their sort of values and what they believe in. I think I mentioned in the chat that I am Muslim, so men in of this religion can marry up to 4 women, but it has to be fair. It has to be a situation where you are able to provide for them financially, emotionally, and physically, and in so many other ways as well. If, for example, if children come out of those relationships, then you need to be able to sort of support them. So it's not just a case of like satisfying some sort of sexual gratification. It's far beyond that.
yeah.
It's about supporting each other as a family unit, basically, because you are a family. But I just wanted to know, like, your stance of like on like marriage. Would you marry these women?
We're not married with these women. This is what I mean. Like, I'm not. Are you talking about me personally?
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
if
yeah.
it's me, like me personally, this is the thing. Because like, I'm not in a polygamous relationship. You see what I mean? If I
Yeah.
was, then the chances of the probability is yeah.
So would you? That means that you are financially responsible for them as well, because I think the thing is, it's quite difficult when you have, say, for example, maybe 2 or 3 women under your belt, and you're expecting maybe 1 or 2 of them to go out and work. Let's say 2 of them become pregnant. Would you expect to have one of them like be the quote unquote the leader with you? Because I don't think, in my opinion, a woman shouldn't take the leadership role, because women take on many roles as it is.
I hear that, but
Looking after children is not easy.
now see, this is the thing. I hear that, but this ain't about me though. So I'm not even because I'm not even in a polygamous relationship. If I was, then I can, say what's what, but I can't. You know what I mean? I can only talk from a. If we're talking about relationship per se, it's like me, I'm in the like I'm just a serial dater right now. You know what I mean? Until I find
Yeah,
someone that is, you know, in line with what I'm doing and what I'm about, then you
yeah,
know what I mean. It's a situation where that naturally going to progress into a monogamous. But then if it does tear off into polygamous, then it tears off into polygamous. But somehow I doubt returning to a polygamous just because too much hassle.
I know it's too much hassle, because a lot of, like, women, I think we're quite complex people. We come with
Yeah,
different personalities. We're not a monolith. We have different wants and needs. And so for one man to meet all those needs is quite difficult, and the man might feel quite spread thin, if you
yeah,
know what I mean.
definitely.
Especially if he feels that one of the women might have to go and support him in supporting the family. So I think, in my opinion, for example, I think the perfect family dynamic is having mum, dad, and children. Just because it work. I don't know if you guys agree with me, but the dad can go out to work, the mum stays at home, because I think it's quite important that women are given that time to sort of rear their children, just so that their emotional needs are met,
Yeah,
and they can be looked after properly. Because if they're not, then what will happen is they might be neglected in certain areas, because mummy's gonna have to go out to work, for example. And I say that as a single mum myself. I have a 4-year-old daughter, and it can be draining. It can be really draining. And
yeah,
so I think, as long as you're honest with the women that you date and say, I'm up for open relationships, then I think that's completely fine. Because at the end of the day, we're all adults. We're consenting adults, hopefully. And with regards to the topic, cheating, I think cheating should be a non-negotiable. I think honesty throughout a relationship, whether it's monogamous, polygamous, or whatever igamous it is, it should be something that is consistent, and honesty should be consistent as well.
100%. I agree. So let me just, Rex says, I thought you wanted 50-50. Do you want to quickly say something about that, AJ, before you leave?
50-50 doesn't work. I'm very traditional. I'm very traditional in the sense that, you know, in order for, if I have future children, I hope to marry the next person that I meet. But with regards to 50-50, I think, nah, it's not my cup of tea, because I've done it. And to be honest, as a feminine woman, I had to tap into my masculine, and I didn't feel comfortable in that space.
Yeah.
Having to raise a child as well as, you know, pay bills and etc. But, you know, it is a lot to do. And I think the traditional way is probably, as an African woman as well, the traditional way is the way forward, basically, for me. 50-50 just doesn't work. It doesn't work in the real world. I mean, she can have a little business here and there, just for something to keep herself busy, but to basically finance the family in the bulk of it. And also, I think the man might feel slightly emasculated, just because, like, you have a woman that's trying to provide for the household as well. Because I believe that, you know, a man can give a woman a house, but it's the woman that makes the house a home.
So
that's facts.
Where does she have the time to make the house a home if she's working all the time?
And also, like, I think it depends on, like, I personally just don't do this for 50-50 thing, but I've come to realize that every relationship is different. I suppose it's like you need to know where that person stands when it comes to these things. Is about asking the right questions, not being surprised when you're in the relationship. It's like, I did not think that this was going to happen. But if you're not having those conversations, if you're not asking the right questions, then you're going to end up in a relationship that's going to end up being broken. So I think it's so important for us to ask the right questions.
Absolutely.
Before we get further into the relationship.
From the very beginning. And I'm pretty sure, sorry, brother, I'm not sure what your name is, but would you feel good, like, as a man, knowing that you provide for your family? Is that something that you would take pride in?
Yeah, definitely take pride in that.
Yeah,
definitely. This is essentially why I'm a serial dater, because I'm literally building myself up to the point where I'm able to, like, when I'm actually good and ready, then I can properly settle down, and I know I'm comfortable to the point where I can provide properly. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's the most important thing. You know, if you're planning to have children in the future, just making sure that they are all their needs are met is the most important thing. And as women, we're quite nurturing, and I think and also, say for example, you have daughters, you want your daughters to have a certain standard met for them as well, to know that, okay, my dad is a provider, he brings this and X, Y, and Z, and, you know, if I ask him for money, or if I need advice, because I think dads do play such an important role, and that gets overlooked. And sometimes what happens is, if that's missing, it can it creates a plethora of problems and issues. And just, you know, the presence of a male is so important, both for a little boy and a little girl. So just to have that balance is quite important, in my opinion.
100% agree with that. Thank you so much for jumping on and sharing that.
No problem.
read. So what Rex Banner says, man works himself to the home. Sorry, man works himself to the bone providing for the household. Then woman complains that you're never home. Then she cheats with a young buck from across the way.
No,
Like,
I'm not saying like on that. I would say something, but you know.
okay, so we're gonna so you've got the relationship course, right?
Yeah.
So break that down. So tell the people exactly like what that consists of and what they would kind of get out of that and why you created that in the first place.
All right. So basically, what they get out of it is more or less like a deeper understanding of how, you know, dating and relationships actually work. Do you see what I mean? And plus, learning and understanding the nature of a man and the nature of a woman. And you know, it's just basically the reason why I created it is simply because, like, I'm not to discredit my foster mom, but like, and you know, people around me at that time, it's a thing of I wasn't really taught certain things. Do you see what I mean? Like the only thing that I was taught was that they handed me this pamphlet to do with STDs and that was it. Like, and yeah, they may have talked about the reproductive system in school, but they never really got into detail of like how to really approach situations. You see what I mean? There's no point. It's like, for example, um, how can I put it? It's like most people live through trial and error, especially when it comes to dating relationships. And if you make this mistake of, I don't know, you're in a relationship, and then let's say we're not arguing all the time. You're arguing, but it's not even necessary to argue all the time. You see what I mean? There's ways of like as a man doesn't necessarily need to argue back. All he has to do is simply listen. You see what I mean? Like there's two things. What I also learned and was also in the course is understanding whether the point to where you're there to help solve the problem or what they're um, complaining about, or whether you just want a listening ear. So it's a thing of understanding that dynamic there. But then another reason why I created the course is simply because, you know, the truth needs to be taught. Because, you know, if the truth ain't taught, then how are we going to end up coming out certain situations? Like, it's better to save time than to waste time, basically.
Okay. So you was talking about obviously the truth kind of being taught and how little you received growing up, which obviously had an impact in how you viewed relationships.
Yeah.
So what type of things do you wish was kind of, you know, presented to you, or was kind of tools that you wish was given to you that you offer in
The,
your course?
the one thing is just learning, you know, how can I put it? It's just understanding what a man does. Do you see what I mean? It's like, and just understanding, you know, if a man is supposed to be the lead, supposed to be the leader and the provider, then it's, you know, gearing up to that, finding ways to do that. But it's and then also just also understanding women, because before I just thought women were like complicated and annoying, but then I realized women are not even complicated. Like you would hear some men like literally complain that in fact there was this video, I don't know if you saw it, this video of one guy, like he's like, oh, women are always saying they want a guy like me. What's it? Women are always saying they want a guy like me. Then why don't they get with? I am me. Get with me. And the thing is, um, his mistake is I realize what he's in the phantom zone, aka the friend zone. Do you see what I mean? And it's because of there's certain things that, how can I put it? If you're too sweet and too nice to a woman, do you see what I mean? You're gonna end up in the friend zone.
Okay.
And that's the thing. If you and then also there's the thing of, yeah, there's the how do I put it? I don't want to call it a game, but there's the long game and there's the short game. The short game is the most easy. I don't want to say easiest, but it is the easiest route because you know what I mean. You know what time it is, and they know what time it is. But the long game or being the friend never really works. You know what I mean? So even I've attempted, even though I knew this information for a couple of years now, there was one woman I was I won't say I was dealing with her, but she was more or less quote unquote a friend. Then I thought I'm thinking maybe yeah, you know what? Let me attempt. And then when I had the conversation with her, she was like she was on it from the first moment she met me. But
Okay.
my problem was I wasn't on it
Okay.
because I found out that I thought she was attracted to another type of guy. So I thought, nah, I'm not on it. If she's attracted to another type of guy, I'm not on it. Plus, I've got other women that are attracted to me anyway. So it's
Okay.
like I'm
So
not.
did you think that she was gonna kind of just play games with you then, and wasn't gonna be
Yeah,
serious?
and she did end up playing games with me. I even cut her off. Yeah, at one point, and she got back into my life. You know what I mean? And then it just yeah. And then the time when I was letting her know, "Look, I'm serious. I'm serious." She just didn't take me serious because she thought, you know, she just thought I was like a playboy, basically. But what can I say?
Was you a playboy?
No, not really.
That hesitation was like, was I? Was I not? Okay. Do you know what? I actually don't think. Well, I know women are not that complicated. Obviously, I'm speaking because I'm a woman, but I
Yeah,
actually do believe that men are a lot more complicated than women, and I
men
actually do.
are simple.
No, and I actually do believe that men are highly emotional beings. They just don't know how to manage their emotions.
See, this
Uh,
is the thing. This is another thing about the roles and relationship course. Being emotional. I'm not saying every human, with a man and woman, they have emotions. Yeah,
mhm.
but with a man, it's how he uses his emotions. Because I can't lie to you. One time I was very emotional, like very angry, all that stuff there. But then when I realized that it's not even about, it's like you have to figure out, you know, why you're feeling this way. You know what I mean? And when you
Mhm.
figure out why you're feeling this way, you're going to find out there's usually this problem. Then you figure out, okay, how can I solve this problem? So again, it goes back to learning for men. It's about learning how to be a man. Because
Exactly.
once
Yes.
I learned how to be a man, it was easy for me to do.
Yeah, that's my point. You got to that point. Like before that, you were very emotional, but then you had to transition into your manhood where you had to be like, no, hold on a minute. I need to actually look within myself so I can be a lot more emotionally intelligent and I can manage my emotions a lot more. But I just don't think, I think a lot of, like you said, everybody is born with emotions, men and women. But for a lot of men, it's more suppressed. Whereas for women, we just let our emotions out. We speak about everything that we feel. We want to talk all the time. And from a younger age, boys are told you can't cry. You know, if you're a man, you can't do this. You need to suck it up. So from a young age, their emotions are suppressed. So they don't
You
know
see,
how to manage that.
this is the thing. Like even from a young age, I was taught men don't cry and stuff like that. But it's a thing of understanding why. See, once people understand why and knowing how to, okay, so what do I do then in this situation? Instead of just saying, man up or suck it up, it's like, okay, no, what do I do then? What should I do? Like, I think that's the mistake that most people are making and not understanding what man up actually means. Like, you know what I mean? Or just reacting like a man.
But
You know
our
what I mean?
young boys being taught that though, our young boys being given the tools to be like, you feeling this rage and this anger. So instead of you to be reactive and just acting, why don't you just, this is how you should go about it. This is what you should do with that emotion. Like, do you really think that young boys are being taught that?
No, they're definitely not being taught that. Definitely. That's why with the course, especially with the roles and relationship course, but also the healthcare course, you know, we mentioned about the whole you know, emotions and stuff like that. Because at the end of the day, um, your emotions are in fact there's someone else that he actually made a post about it recently. Oh, I forgot what it was. He said something about don't make decision based on your emotions because it lasts forever.
Yeah, I agree with
And
that.
so it's a thing of once you understand that, especially as a guy, you know what I mean? Like you think about most, it's mad. Like most guys that are in prison, they're mainly in prison because they were reactive. You know what I mean? Unless some of them, yeah, they were. Some of them are innocent, but some of them are reactive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I definitely
yeah.
agree with that. So what type of people would benefit from your course, or what would they gain from it?
So what they'll benefit and what they'll gain from it is more or less if say for example it's a guy and they want to understand how to develop more of their manhood so they can end up, living the life that's best for them. That's what they're going to gain from it. It's just learning more of their manhood, but also for women as well. Again, it's a learning more of their womanhood. But then, along with that roles and relationship course, it's more for both men and women. It's understanding, like a deep understanding of how dating and relationships actually work. Do you see what I mean? And just understanding, you know, what really is for them. Because it's one thing understand. It's one thing because as we were mentioning before with monogamous and polygamous and all that stuff there, it's one thing understanding that monogamous actually exists, but it's another thing understanding that polygamous exists or polyandry exists, but it's understanding, okay, what really works for you. Do you see what I mean? And what is best for you. And then plus if you think about it with dating and relationships as a whole, you know, they won't be too easily how to put it, basically breakable, if that makes any sense. Because there's certain things where people have zero tolerance for this or that, but then it's like if you deep it, you have to understand why they have zero tolerance for that when that sort of situation could be avoided if you understand how certain situations work. It's like I mentioned about with the arguing. It's like, you know what I mean. You don't necessarily have to argue all the time. It's just knowing your situation.
Okay, let me have a look to see some of these comments. By the way, as well, guys, feel free to use any of the super chats. I really, really would appreciate it. Let's have a look. So black women need to pick men based on things besides height, looks, and being a bad boy. That was from Rex Banner. I definitely agree with that. I think we've gone past that now. Like, I think women are getting it's age, isn't it? Like, you grow, you think there's a lot more than just looks and all of that.
I think, like in regards to that though, like there's a reason why and I don't think it's a black woman thing either. I think it's just a woman thing where if they want a bad boy or whatever, it's because bad boys initially what happens is they have traits of an alpha. Do you see what I mean? And naturally, women want the strongest man, and what bad boys usually are, they usually technically are the strongest men, even though they can be quite emotional. It's a thing of they display those traits. They're very they have leadership qualities about them. Do you see what I mean? They're also aggressive. Huh?
I agree, yeah.
Yeah.
Which that's what draws a lot of women to that type of guy. Like, a lot of women want the edgy guy, that they don't want somebody that they can actually walk all over. Although some men do believe that women actually want something that they can boss about, but I don't agree. Let me just read.
You know what's about? Oh, go on.
From Queen says, tell the truth that it's coming up with the reasons why it's better to lie won't change anything. People overcomplicate everything. Again, AJ says, use your time wisely, listen to a panel that best suits your views. Yeah, what was you gonna say?
No, I was gonna say what's interesting about the whole women liking bad boys and women don't really want a guy that can walk all over. It's interesting with some guys thinking that women want guys to walk. I can speak. Women, you know what I mean? Yeah. So basically, in a nutshell, what I want to say is there's like a role reversal, right? So this is what I've noticed. Yeah, there is some women that literally are like alpha females. They're the ones that walk all over guys that are soft and all that stuff there. But they can't walk all over an alpha. They will naturally get into a settings of being feminine. Do you see what I mean? So yeah.
It's like what was it AJ that was saying earlier? It's like she had to tap into her masculine energy.
Yeah.
It's not something that we want to do. It's like if we're forced to do it, like if you with a guy who is not in his rightful position, like he's not being a leader, he's not being a provider, it's a little bit hard to allow him to lead, or it's a little bit hard to submit to him, in all honesty, because women are also also be logical, not just emotional. Like when we want
Yeah.
things, we need it done, and it's like if you're going to be dragging your feet, then I'm just going to get it done. But then men can feel like, well, you're taking my role, like you're not allowing me to be a man, like you're being disrespectful. But it's like, well, no, you're just not being a man, like you're
Yeah.
just not being in your position. So I don't think women naturally want to be masculine or just want to just walk all over men, but we're not also there to be your mum. Like
Yeah.
personally, I feel like I'm here to be your mum. Like if you're not ready to be in a relationship, if you're not ready to provide, if you're not ready to be out there, then I don't think you should be in a relationship, like if you're not prepared, because you're literally taking on someone's daughter and saying, do you know what, I'm going to now take you in and I'm going to cover you, protect you, provide for you, and, you know, bring you into my world. So
Yeah.
I think the problem, like where an issue happens is like where men want to demand a lot of things. They want to demand respect. They want to demand all of these things, but they're giving very little back. It's like, oh, I want you to respect me as a man, but yeah, I want you to give me half of the rent, for example. You know, it's like I want to be polygamous, but I want you to go out and also work. And do you get what I mean? It's a bit like, well, what exactly are you doing? Like that's just how I would think. Like I'll be like, I'm more than happy to submit and do all of whatever, but I need to see a leader.
Yeah. It's all about the leadership skills. That's all it comes down to. But I don't know. It's a mad one. This is what I'm saying. It's like if boys in general, they're not literally taught how to be a man. You know what I mean? You're going to get this problem. That's essentially what it is.
Yeah. So let me just read some of this. So King and Duck, hello. I don't think I've seen you around just until now. So he says, how are you in a relationship with two emotional people? LOL. Blueface says, I've seen too many women use it against men, to be honest. I don't think it's wise to express too much emotion. I do agree, like a lot of women do that, but I think it's the way that it's done. Like it's the way that you present your emotions. Like, of course, women need to create a safe space for men as well to let out their emotion. But yeah, I do think women do that. AJ says, do you know where the word alpha male originates from? Do you want to answer that question? Do you know?
I can't remember at the top of my head right now, but I can't remember at the top of my head. But all I know is just, you know, I can't remember. Yeah.
King and Duck says, facts, Blue. They say men should be emotional, but in an argument, they'll call you out on this. LOL. Do you know what? I think people need to just choose the right person for them. Like, because if you're not equally yoked to whoever you're in a relationship with, then there's going to be that imbalance. Like,
See, I don't think men necessarily need to be emotional to women or whatever. I just think it just comes down to, yeah, express yourself, but there's a way in how you express yourself.
yeah.
It's just that men have to express themselves in a masculine way, basically. That's all it really comes down to.
Yeah, I think that's key what you said. Is like, I think there's a difference between you expressing yourself and you being emotional, like as a man. And I think for both parties, men and women, we have to learn to be emotionally intelligent and learn to manage our emotions. That goes for both genders. Like, I don't think it's okay for women to heavily put their emotions on a man, or have that expectations that they have to nurture our emotions. Like, I don't think you should expect a man to nurture your emotions. Like, you are a grown woman and you should be able to manage your emotion. Like, if you feel a certain type of way, you don't have to be shouting in your man's face. You don't have to be doing all of this and then be like, but I'm a woman, like, I'm just an emotional being. That's not an excuse. So for both genders, I think it's important. But to express, I think it's important for all parties to be able to express themselves, because in a conversation that I did last time with a couple of my girlfriends, was talking about some men, alpha males, or African or Caribbean, proper traditional men. It's like they don't even want you to talk as a woman. Like, you can't even answer back. Like, they just want to have the final say. And I think that's quite toxic.
You reckon?
Yes.
How can be toxic?
Because you're suppressing my emotions. Like, why can't me speaking or me telling you how I feel is not me objecting what you're saying. But why is it, as a man, you feel like I'm objecting what you're saying? Like, you can't suppress my emotions. I have emotions for a reason.
Oh, okay, yeah, and I'll get what you're saying. Yeah, that is toxic.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not like, if
that's basically him being, that those type of guys are insecure. They're not alphas.
That's like controlling. Like, you're trying to control when I can or can't talk. It's like, because I know some guys, like, if you don't agree with what I'm saying, or if you feel like I'm objecting the decision that you want to make as a man, automatically you feel like I'm not allowing you to make the decision. So I should just kind of be like, yes, okay, fine, let's do it. But it's not every day. Like, yes, let's just go ahead with it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think that causes massive issues in relationships, because everybody, not just women, you can't suppress somebody's emotions. So if I am coming to you calmly, I'm not cussing you, I'm not speaking down on you. I'm just like, hey babe, you know what, I just don't agree with what you're saying. I just don't think that we should do it that way. Some men would actually be like, you're not even letting me be a man. Like, why do you always have to have the final say?
But here's the thing, yeah. Now this might sound very toxic, and it's not how I think. Just put a disclaimer out there. A man can allow a woman to express her emotions, express her feelings, all that cool. But he's still gonna have the final decision.
Okay. Which, by the way, I've come to learn and realize that I don't have a problem with men having the final decision. And sometimes your final decision that you want to make isn't necessarily the right decision, but for peace sake, I'm just gonna let you do it. And then when it'll all blow up, then you'll come back and be like, yeah, what you were saying? Like, because otherwise you just end up being in arguments. But I just don't think it's right for men to have that mentality. Because how long as a woman do you always have to keep your mouth shut? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think women should keep their mouth shut. They can express themselves if they want to. You know what I mean?
All right. Let me just have a read some of these comments. By the way, we're gonna end the live soon. So if you guys want to jump on and just add to anything that we've spoken about, then I've just dropped the link so you guys can jump on. An emotional man loses in the end. That was Blueface.
Very true.
That's true, because you lose control. Like, if you're supposed to be a leader and you're supposed, like, you can't lose control of the ship if you're the captain. Do you know what I mean?
Very true.
Emotional does not mean sobbing at every chance. It's about being expressive. 100%. That's AJ. Okay, let's see what Jason says. The game has changed. Women can be the breadwinner. 2021. Women can be the breadwinner, but I just don't agree with this whole, like, a new age 2021. Like,
they can definitely be the breadwinner for a certain period of time. You see what I mean? Because after a while, like, because if you think about it, yeah, let's look at this for example. Like, I hate to use celebrities examples, but they're the best example I can give for now. If you
Yeah.
look at, for example, I don't know, like Beyonce and Jay-Z, yeah, for a prime example, right? Jay-Z obviously makes more money than Beyonce.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see what I mean? So there's a reason why, like I'll be real with you. I think she can become richer than Jay-Z. You see what I mean? I definitely think she can. However, I don't think she would want to be richer than Jay-Z. I think they're obviously their husband and wife, so obviously they're whatever. But like, that's the thing. It's like at the end of the day, it just comes down to um, it's mad. It's like there's the energy of masculine energy and feminine energy. The energy of a woman submitting to a man. You see what I mean? Like, and I know some women think submitting is a bad thing, but it's not necessarily, because men also submit to women, but it's on a masculine level. So it's a thing where yeah, after a while, you know what I mean? Like, I guarantee you, any man that gets with a woman, yeah, that has more money than him, eventually, like I'm telling you, she's going to leave.
Mm. How would you define what was I gonna say? Oh my god, it just left my head now. But yeah, I definitely do agree though, she will leave or she will end up disrespecting you at some
Yeah.
point. Um
Fact,
yeah.
I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example. Yeah, this is a personal situation that happened to me. Yeah, and this is like with one of my exes. Yeah, and I'm not ashamed of saying it because this is my story in it. Life is life. Yeah, but yeah, she basically at one point she was making more or less more money than me. She was buying stuff for the house, boom, 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 and I was like, cool. Then when we broke up, yeah, don't think she never took the what do you call it, tumble dryer, the TV. What else do you take? She took so much
I was
stuff.
like, yeah, that's mine. That's
I'm
mine.
like, lesson learned. A lesson learned.
That's not even funny, by the way. I actually just laugh at awkward situations.
The only thing she did leave is the oh, I can see them now, like the what do you call them? Them lamps.
Oh,
I'm like,
God.
alright, cool.
You didn't take the lambs. I would have took the lambs too.
Yeah, that I've learned my lesson from that. Yeah, never again.
Nah, thank you for sharing, man. That was good. No, it's true, it's true. So just quickly, one question. So how would you define submission?
Submission is basically the two aspects to it. So obviously, like I mentioned, there's the masculine aspect and the feminine aspect, right? It's just basically providing the needs to one another. Do you see what I mean? Because either way, it's a thing where you're giving, but more or less.
I like that definition, yeah.
Yeah, but then they're also but then while giving, they're also receiving. You see what I mean? But it's just the reciprocation levels where, yeah.
Nah, yeah, I like that. I like that. Feminine and cooperative equals submission. That was from King and Duck. What else? Men can't get pregnant. Women aren't physically stronger than men. Making money has very little with natural roles or gender roles, which I completely agree. But yeah, tell the people where they can find you, really.
Yeah, at the Alkebulan Trust. Basically got the website. Still working on a few things. So the courses are all on there. And yeah, I'm also on social media, but only on Instagram. Also Twitter, but Alkebulan_Trust, and also on Facebook. I did have a TikTok, but deleted. Well, I haven't deleted it. Just
Not
put on
active.
private. Yeah. Gonna try and find a way to be reactive on it. But yeah, so that's where people can find me.
Yeah, so I've put all of his details in the description box. So you guys go ahead and just have a look at his website. Have a look at what the organization is about. We did touch specifically on relationships, but it's a whole organization. Just basically rebuilding the infrastructure within the Black, African and Caribbean community, which is so important. Like, there's so many things that I wanted to touch upon the Black community. I don't want to live to go on for too long because people will watch it on a replay. But yeah, it's about pouring into the Black community. Like, we need to obviously have certain conversations. Maybe you'll come back and we can talk about the community, why it's broken down, why there's segregation,
Definitely.
and how people can also get involved. If there's anything that you guys want to get involved in when it comes to rebuilding the Black community or understanding, building that bridge really, in the diaspora, then yeah, you guys go ahead and check him out. Thank you so much for coming on. Did
Thank you
you
for
have
having me.
any last words or anything like that?
The last word I would just say is, people just need to understand one thing: live your life the best way you can. Don't worry what other people got to think or say about you.
Yeah. Also in the description, I've put a code for if you guys want to look into the course. One thing that I took from what you were saying about the relationship course is about teaching people or understanding relationships. Yes, we
Yeah,
obviously understand that, we are monogamous by nature, but it's looking deeper into that and looking at how ways to save relationships and what works for you, what works for your partner, and how you can explore that, and just different avenues if you just need somebody to I guess direct you, help navigate you through that, then yeah, that is the place to go. So yeah, you guys check out the description box. You guys keep supporting my channel. I really do appreciate it. You also have a channel, right?
yeah, on YouTube.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
plug
yeah.
in your channel, plug in your channel.
Oh yeah, I almost forgot about that. Yeah. So I've obviously got the YouTube channel. Just more or less also discussing more to do relationships as well. But also there are other things that I do, like posting that channel as well. But yeah, that's more or less it. It's the thing of also do how do I feel? I always do reaction videos as well. But yeah, it's just trying to grow that channel really.
Yeah,
Which
you
is
guys go
yeah.
ahead and support the channel, man. It's about supporting the community. But thank you so much for tuning into my live. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I always enjoy it. The interaction has been amazing. Thank you so much for commenting and just, yeah, giving your 2 pence. Until next time, I'll see you guys in my next video, which will probably be tomorrow, whatever we'll talk about. If you are new to my channel, feel free to hit that subscribe button. It is all good vibes. I'll see you guys. Peace.